Greetings everybody. Thank you again for checking out this Waller's World video. This one's going to be about our WallerMade Black Star coffee table. So just to give you some background into the origin of this project, I have a friend from Ghana, Kofi. Kofi, big up yourself anywhere you are. And Kofi reached out to us and said, yo, I like what you guys are doing with the WallerMade, and he really wanted to support us. And so once we got to talking, we got ideas about what he might want, and realized that he really wants to have a piece of home with him, something that can serve as a reminder, something that can serve as a connection. And so from that, we knew that we wanted to make this a very special table and take that next step upwards in producing something of a luxury feel. And so for this project, you'll see a lot of different individual things that I've been doing to take that extra time and effort to make it feel that extra little bit of refined by adding and focusing in on a lot of details. So the first of these things is, as you see here, we're actually working on a template. This is the first time I've worked on a template for one of my tables, and so the reason for this was I really wanted to see what this table would look like in space. And so I actually did a draft of it, brought it out, and kind of gave me a better feel of what it would end up looking like. So as I'm working on this mock-up, we're also in parallel working with Kofi in our client design meetings to try to get a better idea over time of what we want our final design to be, to make sure that this is something that he'll love in the end of it. And through that process, we ended up deciding to work with this piece of black walnut that you're seeing on the screen here. And this was actually our first time working with this type of wood. It's actually a more premium lumber, and we thought that would take this project to that next level of luxury as we set out to do. So this lumber is actually from a local sawmill that we ended up going to because we kind of support just the ideologies of what they've been doing. So what they do is they'll collect any tree that they've been told is just deemed waste, and whether that's waste from being cleared from construction or being cleaned up after some sort of storm. And what they do is they try to get that tree back out into circulation. So some forms that they do that in, they cut them up into slabs, different shapes, and try to, extract some use out of this rather than just getting rid of it. So this was the first time that we ended up going to this sawmill. So it actually ended up taking us a while. We went down there, we were looking around, just trying to find something that we'd be comfortable taking home and starting to work on, because as I said, we really wanted this to be a very special piece and we were working hard towards that. So you see us here happy after we find our piece. We're now able to go home. We loaded it up, very excited, and now we get to start working on it. So now that we have the wood that we're going to be working with, the next step is to actually form the slab for the table. And to do this, we're going to cut down the piece of wood to length and then make sure that the edges are prepared, and we can laminate it just like we described in the previous video. So once we have those edges prepared, we're going to be ready for a glue up, just to form it into one solid slab. So I actually enjoyed learning a lot about Ghana for this project because, I made a decision to kind of make sure that this piece is gonna give a good feeling to someone who is from Ghana. And so I kind of tried to immerse myself, learn about the culture, learn about places, different geography. And I personally have always been a fan of Ghana just as a country, whether that's through just football or through black history things, learning about people like Kwame Nkrumah and Kofi Annan, the things that they've been doing just around the globe. And so, it's nice to be able to get a chance to look into my roots, as I really felt this process was something that I was doing, looking into my roots. And that's something that I always appreciate, just having this project for. It's had a lot of personal development that's been added to me just in me seeking out all of this information that I probably wouldn't have necessarily been studying otherwise. So just switching back to what's going on in terms of the work. The table's been glued up, trying to focus on getting it to be a nice level surface so that, we have a nice table. And the overall shape has been carved out, and now it's going to be a lot of just working of the wood. And when I say that, I mean it's just a lot of patience and gradual change and taking time to get it closer to where we want it. So we have a little change of environment here. We got to go and visit Ashley, upstate New York, and that was a nice little trip. We got to do some work outside, and it was a nice change of pace, change of environment, and it was nice to still be able to be productive, even though we were able to take the time out and visit some family. So that was pretty cool. I guess that's one of the benefits of having a semi-mobile setup to where I can work on the move once I have the space. Another benefit of this project was I also got to learn just about the history and I guess cultural norms in Ghana, as I was kind of talking to Kofi about what he thought I might want to know. One thing that I learned, I could say, is the idea that the country is pregnant. The shape of it is that of a pregnant woman, where you'll have like a baby bump out west, and then you'll have the feet down and in the southwest, over by Hafasini. And I felt like things like that kind of tied into how I would want to end up shaping this table and what would be memorable and what would make it feel like home, because someone from Ghana is supposed to look at it and kind of see a certain thing. And so that's something that I kind of also tried to integrate. Another thing I learned about was Lake Volta, which to me, me learning about that in itself made this project worthwhile, in that I learned something that gave me massive inspiration. So I learned about Lake Volta, which is actually the world's largest man-made reservoir, and it's in Ghana, and it's massive. It's visible from satellite images. It's huge, and I knew that this is something, like I learned from talking with Kofi, this is something that's just represented in the map generally, and so I knew that would have to be included. But even something like this, like, it was nice to learn about, because knowing something like an engineering feat like that, I'm an engineer, and doing something like that, knowing that that came in a black country and is still to this day in a black country, when that's not necessarily the history that we learn about Africa, it was very empowering to know that, okay, these are the kinds of things that I would like to be learning about, and that was something nice. Another thing in terms of just the design of this table, for Accra, I knew I wanted a black star, because I knew I wanted the idea of a black star. I wanted it integrated in some way, because on the Ghanaian flag, that is the center, and like that is, like, I know that's the nickname for the football team. Like, I've known that idea to be associated with Ghana for quite a while, and I knew somewhere in or around this table I wanted a black star. And Kofi being from Accra, the capital, and I felt like that would be the perfect place, to remind him of home, as well as kind of include that symbol of strength. That's what I see in that black star, and kind of it will match the aesthetic as well. So here you'll see me using actual tabletop epoxy mixed with some black dye, and this is my first time doing anything like this, but like, this is actually me finding the balance in terms of what I actually want to do and how I want to use products in my tables. Using epoxy for details like this is a compromise for me, because I know that epoxy is generally, it's a plastic, and it's not really something that I kind of want to be putting out into the environment. I don't really want to be promoting the use of it, so I'm not really looking to be making any thick slabs with it. But like, details like this, I think it really brings it to that next level without actually making a lot of pollution, that kind of stuff, and just in terms of plastic production. So this being my first time with the epoxy, actually taking my time and trying to get the details right. There's been quite a few hitches, but in the end, just went through the process, and when I finally got it to where I wanted it, I was so happy. I felt like a kid in a candy store. You see me here posed with this picture. I am so happy with how it ended up turning out. With the details done, I was now able to go on and give it its final color and finish. Kofi, when he received it, he was really happy with it. He showed us a lot of pictures, just it in his home, and I think it really fit well in terms of just the final look. And at the end of the day, he was very happy, and that's something that I was happy to be able to facilitate. And again, like, if you have anything that you would like to reach out and have us build for you, don't worry, like just redo it. Reach out. As I said, I always want to be in your living room. So if you have anything that you want me to be in your living room for, or your dining room, your office, like there's a lot of different things that we can work together on, and kind of on a mission to make this furniture thing kind of sustainable and nice at the same time. So if you made it this far into the video, I want to say thank you for sticking with me. I know it was long, but hopefully you found something that you found to be worth sharing, because at the end of the day, really trying to get these videos out there. And if you found something interesting, I would love it if you would share it with someone else so that they can also find it interesting and continue that chain, because we're just trying to get out there. Thanks for taking the time to take just a look into Waller's world.